Hi family, welcome to the Inspired Cupcake. Thank you so much for joining me. So for those of you who are joining me for the first time, or for those of you who have joined me before but who are a bit confused about what this channel is about, it's basically, I just want to put it out there. I'm the cupcake and I'd like to think that I'm inspired to share whatever I share with you guys, hence the Inspired Cupcake. So I cover a wide variety of topics, so wide range rather of topics. So you'll see that from week after week I'll be sharing different things. So today I am inspired to actually tell you guys a story. This is a story about how I actually bought my first car. Well, the only car I've ever had, really. So I just want to tell you guys how that happened, and I hope to inspire someone towards saving. So this is basically about saving. I'll give you a bit of a background. I'll try to be as fast as I can or as quick as I can in my storytelling, because I know you guys don't like long videos. So it started about, so the year currently is 2019, and I bought my car in 2018, last year June I think, and it all started in 2012, was it 2012 or 2013? Okay. So I started working in 2012, and when I started working I was on contract for 12 months. And so what happened was, as soon as I got the job, I was really excited. I was fresh out of university. I got into a really nice graduate program, and it was really exciting. I remember my first thought was, I need to spoil myself and I need to spoil my family. So the first thing that I did was I went to the Eastern Cape, which is where the majority of my family was at the time. So I went home and I decided I want to take everyone out. And I remember when I got home, I had gifts for everyone. Like I bought Nike sneakers, I bought for my brothers, I bought dresses for my cousin. Like I basically, went all out, because all these years I had been they'd been taking care of me, so I felt like I needed to give back to them. So I went and and when I got home, I told them I'm taking them out to a buffet or wherever it is they want to go. It's on me. So it was a really exciting time, and I think I was there for about a weekend or something like that. Yeah, just a weekend. And on the day when I was supposed to take them out, I remember my uncle pulled me on the side and he said to me, you know what, I can see that you're really excited, I can see that you're happy, I can see that you want to spend your money, but I want to tell you something. He told me a story of what happened to him when he started working. So basically he was working, I think he was a manager at a butchery store, and he bought his car and he got married, and so the car was on credit, and unfortunately for him, the store closed down, or he was fired. I can't remember the details exactly, but he lost his car. He basically lost everything. He had to start from scratch, and the reason for that was because he had bought the car on credit, so he technically didn't own the car, the bank owned. So they took, after all these years of paying the installments, the bank went and took the car, and that was really sad for him. So he said to me that was a very bad experience for him, and he said if there's one thing that he can tell me, if there's one thing that he would tell anyone who just started working, is to start saving, and to start saving immediately. Don't wait. Even if you don't know what you're saving for, even if you don't earn a lot of money, even if you are young and you don't have responsibilities, start saving. He said to me, start saving, because you don't know what will come up. You don't know, you might find that you want to travel, you might find there's a lot of things that you might want to do, and you need to start enabling yourself right now. And he said that he didn't want me to fall into the trap, into the same trap that he fell into. And specifically, he said a lot of black, I know it's not just black people, but a lot of black young black professionals tend to fall into this trap. And he said to me he doesn't want me to fall into this trap, he just wants me to start saving. And he said I must avoid as much as possible, you know, trying to prove that I have the money, trying to trying to show that I've made it, or whatever the case may be. So I took that advice to heart. I took that advice, because growing up, 18 years or 19 years of my life, I grew up in a shack, and my grandmother was a saver. She was a really big saver, but I could tell that she would have loved to give us more, but unfortunately she was unable. She was a domestic worker, and I got where my uncle was coming from. You know, I understood what he was saying. So I started saving. And I bought my cell phone cash. I didn't get a contract. I was living with relatives at the time, so I didn't have to pay rent, and I contributed towards just the groceries and whatnot. So when I went back to Joburg, where I was living with my relatives, I basically contributed towards groceries and all of that, but I wasn't paying rent. So that was the saving. So I started saving. I was saving, and I didn't know what I was saving for. And trying to think now what happened. Oh, okay. And I was saving, and then I got transferred to a different position, and I was still saving. So I remember some of my savings I could use for there were some trips around the country, in Mpumalanga, where some of my church friends and I went for camps, so I would use some of those funds. But the amazing thing that happened was the funds came really, they really came in handy when I decided to buy my first home. So I think it was about a year or two later, and this is not like I was earning big bucks or anything, guys. I'm still not earning any big bucks. So about a year or two later, I decided I wanted to invest in a home, because I just felt like I needed a home. So I started looking around, and I decided on specific property, and I actually had funds enough to pay the transferring fees, those attorney fees that are required. So I didn't have to include that in the bond amount. So that came out of my savings. And then after I had bought my first home, then I kept on saving. So by this time, like I think that was 2013. Yeah, 2013, end of the year. So exactly a year later, that's when I bought my first home, and I didn't have the stress of not having the attorney's fees or registering fees. Those fees. So that's what happened, and then I kept on saving. So by this time, most of my friends that I had gone to school with, most of my friends that actually some of them started with the very same graduate program that I was in. Most of them were driving like really nice cars. Like my friends were driving like Golfs and, you know, these nice cars. They could afford the installments. But my uncle kept saying to me, no, don't buy the car. Rather, buy something that appreciates if you're going to buy it on credit. For now, keep on saving. You don't really need a car. So I didn't need a car. I could travel to work. Like I literally would catch one taxi to work, and when I moved, I literally walked. So I moved very close to work. I had to move out of home and pay rent, but that was not so much money as well. So I didn't move into a townhouse or, you know, a nice apartment. Even though I could afford the rent, I didn't. I decided to save those funds. So I was saving, and I remember I was living in this one one room place where I was paying about 1,000 rands, and I could walk to work, so there was no transportation fees, transport as well. So I kept on saving, and then until finally, and throughout this entire period I didn't even have my license. Then last year in March, so I've been saving since I'll say 2013, because late 2013, because I used most of the funds that I saved in 2012. I used them when I was buying the house. So since 2013 until last year, I had been saving until I decided I have enough. I can actually afford to buy a car, and at the time I really felt that I needed it. Traveling was becoming more and more, like, it was becoming inconvenient with the public transport, because I had to move jobs again. Like, I was further away from work, and I couldn't move to that area. I was still, getting used to the environment. So I decided it was time. And when I shopped around for the car, I looked obviously for a second-hand car. In South Africa, you can't really afford to buy a brand new car unless you buy it on credit, or you have lots and lots of money, or you save for a longer period. So I asked a lot of people. I asked around, I googled, I went into the internet. So I did my research. I put a time frame to it, where I did all my research. I asked all the experts, and I asked people to car experts to travel around the area with me and basically help me decide on what's the most fuel efficient car, and the car that I won't spend a lot of money servicing afterwards, things like that. So I had to look at things like that. So, and I had a price range already, because I knew what my budget was. I remember when I went, there was a specific dealership where we went, and they said, no, but you're just 30,000 shy of you can just buy this brand new car. You just need 30,000 extra. Just take out a loan. And then I was very adamant about the fact that no, I do not, I'm not going to buy this car on credit. I want to own this car. So we kept on searching. It took about a month, and finally I got the car on OLX, and it was a private sale. And this guy was actually he needed to go out of the country, and he needed the funds to go bury someone, I think in Ghana. Yeah. So I got the car there from him. It was I think it only had about it was like the kilometers were like 60,000 kilometers on it. It was 2 years old, and it was a very reasonable car model. It was so I bought it in 2018, and it was a 2016 model. He had bought it in April or May 2016. Yeah. And it was in very good condition. Well, I'm still trying to keep it in good condition, even though I've bumped it so many times. I'm told that's what happens in your first car. So yeah, I managed, but getting the seller, connecting with the seller was really, that part was really by the grace of God. I believe that God himself helped me out on this one, because the way it happened, it was so crazy. Because this guy says that as soon as he put the ad up, it wasn't, I don't know how long it was after that he pulled the ad, but I was the first person to call him. And that day that I called him, I had actually decided, you know what, I'm so frustrated, I've been looking, I'm tired, and I just decided, let me go on OLX, and I tell my brother, let's start looking for Mazda 2s. Then he looks, and then he finds this one. Then I call immediately, and this guy says that then he decided, you know what, this is my buyer, I'm not giving it to anyone. So he, after my call, everybody else that called him afterwards, he told them no. So that for me, that's just God. That's just God, nothing else. Yeah. So yeah, that's the story of how I bought my first car. So I was just the purpose of this video, it's just to encourage somebody out there to not try to live up to everyone's standards. I mean, have your own standards. There are things that you should prioritize, and there are things that are just wants instead of needs. I know in South Africa at the moment, cars are becoming a bit of a need instead of a want. You know, public transport is not as efficient as we'd like it to be. But if you can, guys, even if it's riding your bike to work, like black child especially, I know, well, everyone can fall into this trap, but I've seen so many young black professionals who fall into the trap of you know, just because you start working, it doesn't mean that you must live in a nice townhouse, or that you must buy that expensive car and show them that you've made it, because the reality is things can happen. We're living in really tough economic situations, and it's better to wait, save, just cultivate that habit of saving. Whatever you may be wanting to save for, I'm just trying to encourage you all to start saving, and you'll be amazed at how far those funds, you know, can go. I'm actually so glad, I'm so grateful that I had an uncle who looked out for me, who helped me to not make the very same mistakes that he made. I'm still learning, and I hope this message gets to someone. I hope someone actually, you know, applies some of these principles. Yeah, so let's start saving, South Africa. Thank you for watching this video. See you on the flip side. Bye.